Well, only by Sean Hannity, not by Bill O'Reilly.
Wait. Whoa, say that again. Say that again.
Only by Sean Hannity, not Bill O'Reilly.
Sean Hannity, what? He hit on you or made you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, actually, Sean Hannity came here to town, to Detroit, and he did his show from here. And his then executive producer, Bill Shine, who's now the president of Fox News, or the co-president, they were here. And Sean Hannity, after we did a show from here. Before the show, he actually had some event at a bookstore where he had people sign his book.
Okay.
Or he signed his book, for people standing in line.
All right.
And he asked me to meet him at this book signing. So I met him there, and it was very awkward. He had me stand up there with him while he signed books, and I felt very weird. These people don't know me, and they didn't come for me to sign their book.
Right.
And so then I left to get ready for the show, and he said, "Why don't you come with me back to my hotel?" And I said, "No, I have to get ready for the show." And then after I went to the show, and my dad and my brother were there in the dressing room, or in the green room rather.
Right.
And then he tried to get me to go back with him to the hotel after the show. After he and Bill Shine, his executive producer, treated me horribly and basically head faked me because they told me, Sean came up to me and said, "We're going to double team this," which was a weird phrase to use, this Palestinian guy that I was up against on the show. And then every time I tried to open my mouth and say something, they yelled at me and said, "Obey your host, you can't say anything, or we're going to shut off your microphone." And when I looked at the tape, I barely said anything. And this Palestinian talked the whole time. And then after that, I wasn't booked on a show again. And he called me and yelled at me, and it was made clear to me that I didn't go back to his hotel with him after, and all this other stuff, and I got a very weird feeling about the whole thing, and I kind of knew I wouldn't be back on his show. And his longtime executive producer, who used to be known as Flirty Flipper on the air, her name is Jill Vitale.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
She quit being his executive producer, and everyone should ask, why did she quit? Because there's a big story behind it. And it's not an above-board story why she quit. He wanted something from her. She wouldn't give it. So there's all kinds of stuff with him about people he's had as guests on his show or guests on his to host his radio show when he wasn't there. And he had this guest host who's now deceased, and you know who I'm talking about because I sent you an email about it when I was responding to somebody who told me the guy died. Who also used to call me late at night and try and hit on me, who was a married person, and just creeped me out. And then I wasn't allowed to be on his radio show, this other person, after I, did not respond to his advances. So this kind of stuff is very all over the place at Fox News and with anything that has to do with Sean Hannity. And it's funny because I have a friend that's a radio host in a different city, and who used to work for Rush Limbaugh. And whenever Sean Hannity would talk about John Edwards and his love child,
right,
he used to always call me. We would laugh about it because, he could have had a love child too, given with some of the stuff that we've heard about him and some of the stuff that I know about him. So it's just funny to me. And Bill Shine, who, like I said, was Sean Hannity's executive producer, it is the reason Sean Hannity is still at Fox News. They used to drive into work every day together, Bill and Sean Hannity from Long Island, where they both live. He is the co-executive producer. He's named in a lot of the lawsuits that have been filed against Fox News by these women. And the reason he's named is that all of these people basically say that he was the pimp for Roger Ailes. He was the fixer for Bill O'Reilly. He, by the way, according to the New York Times, was one of the people who argued for Fox not to fire Bill O'Reilly this week. And it's just amazing he's still there. One of the people that's suing Fox News, this Julie Roginski, who is a Democratic person, she said that Bill Shine said to her about Roger Ailes, well, Fox News is like the Eagles, and you need to see this documentary about the Eagles, the band. that, we're rock stars, basically, he was saying, and you need to see this documentary and go along with the Eagles. That's basically what he told her. And the reason why I believe her is that such a specific reference that I don't think anyone would ever make up. And her lawyer is this Nancy Erica Smith who represented Gretchen Carlson. And Gretchen Carlson, as we had discussed, months ago, almost a year ago, she made tapes of Roger Ailes coming on to her. And I believe that Julie Roginski did that too. I don't think this Nancy Erica Smith has taken any other cases against Fox News but this Julie Roginski. And I think it's because there's probably tapes in that case too. And she, Julie Roginski makes certain allegations against Bill Shine. The other person, that's two people that are still around that need to go is there's Diana, I think her last name is Berganti, who is Fox News' publicist, and I think, and there's also this other woman, or her name is Irina Berganti, and then there's a woman, Diane Brandy, who's a lawyer for Fox News, and both of them were involved in fixing things for Roger Ailes. And then there's this woman, Margaret Scottis, I think her name, and she was for years Roger Ailes' secretary. And she is the reason, she told me at first that Roger Ailes wanted me to come to New York and meet with him. And then later on, I think I mentioned this on the show, months ago, Roger Ailes decided I was going to be a troublemaker, which I guess means that I wouldn't be one of the people that would put up with the kind of behavior there. Because I'm not that kind of person that would do that. And she called me and canceled the meeting, and she was extremely rude to me. She was a secretary. She's now vice president of Fox News. And she went from being a secretary to being, what is the name of the woman that used to be on who had plastic surgery and is now at MSNBC?
Greta Van Susteren.
Yeah. That's how quickly we forget.
Yeah.
She was Greta Van Susteren's executive producer, and then she went from that to being promoted to the vice president of Fox News last year when Bill Shine was made the president, so co-president. So all of these people were all fixers for Roger Ailes, and they need to go too. But the reason they'll never go is none of this was about principle or about firing Bill O'Reilly for what he did, or they would have fired him years ago when he got caught in the phone sex scandal with his producer, Andrea Makers, who made tapes of the whole thing.
Right.
I mean, you and I could not do that at a job and keep our job back then,
Right.
Log on to 1170kfaq.com to check out all of Pat